Hey there, friends. This is Sandy, and I am so looking forward to this turtly awesome project. So, turtles everywhere. If you get my 8-page project, or I do have each of these 2-page spreads available. Well, not all of them, but some of them are available in just 2-page kits instead of getting the whole 8-page project. So, here's what you get. You get the gems. You get these letters that spell out the word music. Do not lose them. Let me go through the kit in just a second. You're going to want to grab some supplies. You're going to need the Turtley Awesome stamp set and the Turtle Textures embossing folder. So Turtley Awesome stamp set, turtle embossing folder, has turtle shapes on it. I love, love, love it. You are going to need plenty of adhesive, foam tape, a sanding block, blending brushes, scissors, and your choice of inks. I list the inks, I list the markers that I use. You also are going to need some ribbon if you like ribbon. So not everybody likes ribbon. If you come over and do the project, you can use my ribbon. This is the shaded spruce and soft seafoam bordered ribbon. And what's really cool is it's dark on one side and light on the other. I super love it. Um, so in addition to those things, you have 3 little baggies filled with shapes that you need to cut out. I know it's a lot of cutting, but it's better than stamping and coloring everything, right? Stamping, cutting, and coloring. You have this little square-ish shape, rectangular shape that you're going to stamp a microphone on and cut it out. You've got all these turtles here. They all need to be cut out. Then we've got this separated into 4 different sections. So this is project number 1, project number 2. 2, 3, and 4 all have flip flaps with them. Yay, we're going to do some flip flappy fun things with this project. And then this is project 4 with a 3x3 flip flap. So that's the project we're going to be doing. The first thing we're going to do is we are going to make this beautiful textured background on our 2 white by white, yeah, white willow 12 by 12 cardstock. So you need their 2 white 12 by 12 willow. I would keep everything. So I'm talking about these 2 right here. Take all these pieces and set them aside because you don't want to get them mixed in with all of that. It's going to make your life confusing, right? So maybe if you scoop everything with the black and just know that everything above the black is for this project. These are the 2 pieces that you need. And whatever 4 colors you want to use in your sky. So the goal here for me was that it looked like when the lights start streaming at a concert, it gives you that fun rainbowy look. That's what we were going for here. So whatever 4 colors you want to use there and blending brushes to match. So I'm just going to show you a little bit of it. I'm not going to go through the whole process on film. I do want to point out a couple of things before we even get started. We are starting, you don't need ink below the 5-inch mark, but you do want to bring it down to there. So if you're thinking maybe halfway is where you're inking, you want 6 inches up is where you want your ink to be. You want your colors to kind of come together, right? So that your yellow's streaming into your yellow, your red streaming into your red, the blues into the blue when you're carrying across the 2 separate pages. So what I'm going to do is just use some smaller paper here, pretend like we are doing this right now. I want the red to come right through here. So I'm going to start by just creating kind of my line. Then I find it's easiest if you tap a little bit of your color off and you are going to just swirl. You want circular motion to create that fun color. Okay. Then When you come in with your next color, you're going to want to overlap that a little bit with this one, right? So first we're going to go in and make a little stream. This one's going to fully cover that corner, or in your case, it wouldn't be the corner, it would be halfway, right? So you're coming down halfway. You can go all the way if you want, but we're just going to cover it all up with this paper. Right, so we want this to overlap, and that creates kind of a yellowish color in between them. And after you go through this a couple of times, you may decide you want to go back in and do a little more red. So the more I go over those colors, the darker and richer they'll get. So obviously on this one, I've really done some deep rubs and overlaid them a lot to get that nice blend of colors in between, right? So we've got some purples going on here, bluish greens, yellow greens, more purples, some oranges in between here, all by blending those colors together. So that's step one. So right now you need one of the greens, and you've got two of the little thinner ones, two of the wider ones, 1 inch and 2 inch yellow music notes, and then a 4x12 of the green. That's what we're going to start with. Then you've got this music note here. What I want you to do is cut this right about in half. And we're going to use half for both each side. You need a red one for each. You've got two different lines. I ended up doing them the wrong way. So you decide which one you want over here, which one you want over there on the other page. And then a blue. So one of the blues for each side, a music note for each side. For now, we need a 4x6 well, a 4x4 well, and a 3x4 well. And we need the page that we did the most inking on. So the 1 inch yellow goes along the bottom. I'm going to turn that. The music notes are all random, but one way over the other kind of has more music notes going the right way. That's why I flipped it around. Next goes our fun turtley paper. And then our 2x2 is going to go on top of that. So see here, we got plenty of space coming down. We want our 4x6 photo well to come 1 inch over from the edge, and it's going to be kind of sitting on top of that green. So just above the green piece, covering up the yellow. Then our 4x4 well is going to have the same amount of yellow on the left and right, about a quarter of or a half of an inch. And then your 3x4, I didn't tape along the top because that's going to overlap this picture down here. I'm doing about a half of an inch on the left or on the right and the bottom showing the green. Then we've got these 4 pieces here and the one silver tab that I forgot to grab. All of these we are going to dovetail. So up to you. I like to dovetail by folding. It does leave a little bit of a fold mark. But I find that that's just the easiest way for me to do my dovetails. Okay, and then our music notes are also going to get dovetailed, but that you're going to do this way. So you want it to be wider. And when we dovetail this one, starting from the point, going up to the fold, there's our little angle for that one. So the red piece goes down first, and I'm putting extra adhesive down along the bottom where my fold mark is going to be. So we've got the red and then the blue that overlap a little bit. Then this one you may have to either cut off, or I'm just going to slide it up underneath there a little bit. so that it overlaps both of those. And then we're going to put this one down. I'm just putting tape along the very top, showing a little bit of blue and some of that stripe. And then this one, we're going to slide underneath here to create that fun little cluster of tags. So in the gems, let me grab the gem. There are 4 different colors on here. On this layout, you're using the darkest ones. So you've got 6 of the darkest and 6 of the smaller, or 6 of the darkest. 6 of, yeah, 6 of the large dark, 6 of the small dark that you're going to use on this page to put your gems. And don't forget all of your adorable little turtles. So you decide where you want your turtles to go. I went through and added a bunch of extra music notes. So back to that stamp set. There's my turtles. There's the little music note from the turtles that we're going to put on here. I stamped the word hooray. Don't forget your little music there. And let's see, we want this guitar guy down here. I did not stamp his hat or the top of his guitar just in case I needed to slide something underneath there. And I cut this one out. So there are dies that go with these turtles. And what I love is the die for this one actually cuts out that hand. So if I wanted to, I could cut out that microphone and put it so that it's sitting right in his hand. So remember, this microphone we're just going to cut out. I'm just going to cut this side so you can see how this could easily then, right, slip right underneath his hand, and it looks like he's holding that little microphone. Options. You got options. Okay, so I'm going to use foam tape and pop him up a little knot down here. Right, so I use some of that. If you want to use ribbon, that's where I added the ribbon, a little dot, 3 dots there, 2 dots up here. And that's it. We will move on to our next page. You go through and add as many of those music notes as you'd like to add. All right, so this page starts the same way. We're going to do 1, 2, 3, right? The 1 inch, the 4 inch, the 2 inch. That goes down first. We've got this that's designed to hold 2 4x6 pictures, but you also could add 3x4s. You could do 4 3x4s. You could do, you know, whatever pictures your photos are, that's what you do. That's what you use. All right, then I overlapped this 3x3 over top of this photo well down here. And all of these are going to get dovetailed, right, and tuck in under there. So I'm putting the red about 3/4 of an inch up from that yellow piece, leaving some, well, maybe it's an inch. Leave some room there, that's all. Then we're going to put down this blue, and that's going to overlap the yellow and the red. Then we've got the striped piece. Now you'll notice your stripes go different than my sample does, right? That is on me. I'm sorry. My brain went wrong and I cut these all wrong. But guess what? It still looks super cool like this. No worries. Well, it looks super cool if you do it straight. If you don't do it straight, it looks silly. All right, then we've got the music note, and hopefully you're dovetailing that the way that the music notes are going so that it's looking good in there. Right there, and then the silver flag is going to go on top, and I'm going to slide that underneath just a little bit. Again, making it straight. Okay, then we've got our drummer, and your drummer may be facing this way and he may be facing that way. No big deal, whichever way your drummer boy is going. Get him on there. And over here, this is the dude that I ended up putting the microphone in his hand. But again, whichever way you decide to go with that. Bring him down. I don't want to cover up my drummer boy, so I'm putting that down there. And then again, maybe your horn's going this way, maybe your horn's going that way. No, I like him kind of sticking up into the blue there. Get up right up in there. All right, then over here, I wrapped ribbon around, so I tied a bow or tied a knot here and then wrapped it underneath and just used some glue dots to fasten it underneath. Gems here, 3 along here. And again, music notes wherever you want to stagger them through. Isn't that fun? All right, so for this kit, you need the little baggie of goodies that has the bicycle guy, the watering can, the little basket, some birds and flowers. That's the one that we're going to use for this page. First thing I did is I took my 4 pieces of cardstock that I already embossed for you. You're welcome. We're going to use the sanding tool and sand some of the white or sand some of the color off of the cardstock to reveal the white core. So to get started, we need 2 of those pieces that we just sanded, 1 of the striped pieces and 2 of the polka dot pieces, along with 1 12 by 12 base. The green pieces are going a 1/2 inch in and a 1/2 of an inch up. Okay, so there. And then same thing on the other side. 1/2 inch up. Creating for us, ooh, that's not straight. That's creating for us a little frame around the edge, right? See our frame around the edge? So there's the start of that frame. Now we need to take this piece. Actually, let's do one of the polka dots first. All right, so we're going to take this polka dot piece, and it's a little bit longer than what you need. So you're going to have a 1/2 inch hanging off the edge that we're going to cut off in just a minute. And we've got this piece coming up. And then again, we're going to insert that polka dot piece. And we did this one last, this polka dot piece last, because we're covering up a little bit of that stripe. It really just depends on how well you do lining up those edges. Just trim off those edges. Here we go. All right, so there's our base. Now we need some of our photo mats. So we need a 4 by 6, a 4 by 4, and a 3 by 4. And you'll notice this is 4 1/4 by 6 1/4 so that you can put a 4 by 6 picture in it. This we're going to use about a 1/2 of an inch frame here and here to start the landing. Then this one we want to be down further, still leaving that about a 1/2 of an inch space in there. This one again, 1/2 of an inch up. And this should fall just about even with that polka dot piece. Then we've got, grab our pieces here. So we've got 2 white pieces and this it's currently, what is that? 1 inch by 4 inches. You want to cut that, use your paper trimmer, and you're going to cut it right down the middle to create 1/2 inch by 4 strips. So there's our little strips. You're going to want to leave a little bit of white showing, but I've got more showing on one side than the other. You do you. If you want to put it right down the middle, you certainly can. You could put it along the edge. But we're going to do that for both of these white pieces. And then that becomes a nice little piece to tuck next to. It's not quite as long as that piece. So you're going to go up a little and down a little on either side. You've got these frames that fall right inside one another. So this frame's going to go in here. And this one is going to go in here. Okay, so I stamped on this one, Sweet Friend. Let me bring that up close so you can see what I'm talking about. I did a little bit of sponging with blue using my blending brush to create kind of a sky. Sweet Friend with a flower, and I colored the flower in with markers. And then I put this piece kind of pointing right down into that picture. These pieces out of the way so we can get into our bag of goodies. Now I've already gone through and cut all of my pieces out for this layout. I need my guy on a bike. He's going to ride his bike right into the corner of this picture. Then this guy that is watching for birds is standing over here. This guy laying on his back, looking all cute, goes down in this corner. Then we've got a red bird up here and a little flower down here. I tied a knot to create this little ribbon accent. And then on this layout, we're using, ooh, this on the white, we're using these like green colors on this layout. And I think that takes care of that when we did two down here, a big and a little here, and a big and a little up here to finish off that page. So this page starts the same way the last one did, but this time our frame is going to be top, bottom, and on the right. And this photo mat, we're going to do the same kind of dimensions where we've got a 1/2 inch here and a 1/2 inch here. Then our 3 by 4, actually, let's put this piece down next. Our little flower piece is going to go up here. And then we want this to be the same height as that flowery piece. And I'm putting the same spacing on the left and right of this photo. Now we've got this piece here. I've added my little beekeeper, and I'm going to add this photo well right to here. And we're going to put that inside of this flap. Now you can attach this later to your actual page protector, right? Or what I like to do is I attach it directly to my page like this. And then when I get into my page protector, I put a mat inside of there, a clear mat, and then just cut my page protector and pull this flap to the outside. That way, this is secure on the inside. We've got a picture covering up that glue looking spot, and you'll never even know it's there. All right, our ribbon wraps underneath here, and I would do a glue dot if you're going to do this ribbon, a glue dot to really hold that in place with a knot there. Stamp whatever you'd like on this piece. I put here for you always as part of that, the Turtley Yours stamp set. That's where that came from. And we've only got a few more pieces for this layout. We want her little butt, or his, I don't know, kind of sticking off the edge here onto that frame. And I'm just going to add a little more glue to these pieces I don't want ripping off. They are watering these flowers. So we want those flowers to land there. We've got a cute little red bird. And you might have yellow birds in your kit too. If you've got yellow birds, you can add your yellow birds. If you've got some extra flowers, you could add some extra flowers to all this. Got another flower down here. And I'm also putting this little basket and the watermelon down in this corner. So again, if you've got any other flowers or birds that you wanted to add, like I think I really want these cute little yellow birds to be a part of what I got going on. So I'm going to put them on the other page too and add this little extra flower I've got. And then we're ready to move on to the next page. With this set of pages, you're going to need your little baggie that's got the guy that's grilling and the beach kind of scene. You've got two green pieces that look like this that are embossed. You're going to want to rub some ink over top of that and make all of those fun little images pop. Now you will notice on my layout, we used one of them here, and this one here has a different pattern paper. I was overzealous, and rather than buying an extra set of paper for everybody in order to make that work, we're just switching out that paper with this paper, and look, it still looks awesome, right? So that's why you've got one of these instead of one of those in your kit. So we need one of those in each pile, one of those in each pile, one of those. 1, 2, 3, 4. Ooh, and these striped ones too I'm missing. Oh my goodness. I just checked and all the other kits have this stripe. So you guys are good. It's just my sample that doesn't. So my sample is going to have something slightly different, and that's okay. Oh my goodness. All right, you've got a whole bunch of pieces here. We need this long piece. You need your flip flap, this one, and then let's see, we need our small yellow. We'll put our big yellow in this other pile. We need our big blue. We'll put the small blue in the other pile. We need the bigger green. Smaller green goes in the other pile, and then smaller foil, bigger foil goes in the other pile, along with all of those other pieces. Okay, so half of this stack comes over here. We just need one of our bases. All right. So I'm going to go blue for me, brown for you, stripe. Polka dots going over here, and then this piece is going here. So get all those taped down with the spacing that makes you happy. Once you get those down, this is coming down about an inch from, you want about an inch of the color to show along the top there. Make it going straight. Now, if you want to do the ribbon, that's a knot that has been stretched across the back. This could fit a 4x6 and a 3x4, or you can do three 3x4s, totally up to you how you want to play that one out. We've got this flip flap here. So let's get all the pieces that we want on there now. We need one of the 3x4s. So one of our 3x4s is going to go here. And then I'm going to add all my little fun from this bag. So I added my girl, that little crab guy, and one of the blue shells. Then this slips right down into that pocket. And just like the last one, I'm going to put mine directly onto my page. If you are not, then you're going to just hold off on this part until you put it on your, or grab a page protector, and this is the right page. So you want to make sure that your seam's on the left to go into your binder. That's where your holes are going to be for your binding. Okay, and now we've got our little cluster that we're going to build. So we want this to kind of go underneath this picture just a little bit with our blue first. Then our green one is going to come off onto the other blue, overlapping. I'm going to pull it up a little higher. You want to still be able to fit your words in there, whatever your sentiment is going to be. Mine says, it's okay to take it slow. Again, that's from the Turtley Awesome stamp set. So my silver, then I'm going to do the yellow, again, butting this underneath, overlapping all those different things. So now my picture is going to go in here. Once I get my picture, that 4x6 can fit right in there, your 3x4 there, right? And then whatever designs of pictures you want up here. I've also added the beach ball to this little cluster of fun right there. I've got another one of those knot ribbons. We've got a sand castle, and I'm not putting any adhesive along the top here, only along the bottom. So I can slide my picture underneath there later. I'm going to put another sand castle down in this corner. And take a look at your seashells. Not everybody has the same seashells. So what do you have and where do you want to use them? This is the only page that's getting seashells too, so you can use them all up. This page and the next page, obviously. The companion page to this one. You've also got some starfish, if you want to add some of those starfish to it. And then this set of pages is getting the blue, the like lighter blue colored gems on it. Oh, another shell up there. Do a little guy. So add gem, 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 bling it up. And we can go to our next side. This one started the same way. Remember, your paper is different than what I have on my sample. You're going to have this piece here. Then we've got that. I think there's one kit out there that does have this paper. So you may still have this one. Everyone that came in person got this one, but the rest of the kits don't. All right, so this is going about 1.25 inches up from the bottom of, so you can see about 1.25 inches of those there. Then when we add this 3x4, you want to make sure you don't put adhesive where you're overlapping the picture. And we're going to do our cluster over here. We want to start with our yellow that is going to go above that line of paper, overlapping the blue and the polka dot. Our green is going to go next, and oh, that's not true. We're going to do our silver next. Our silver is next, and you want to kind of fit in that space right there. So you've got a nice frame on all sides. This is coming up a little bit, so you can see some of the silver here and some of the polka dot over here. And then this blue piece is going to line right up along the edge of that picture. Now, just like in all the other cases, your turtle might be facing a different way. If he is facing a different way, that's okay. He doesn't need to be facing the exact same way that mine is. Just as long as he can still face his grill, which I believe I have fixed all of those so that all the grills match the same direction as their chefs. I've got my cute little swimmer down here. And whatever starfish and shells you have left, you can sprinkle about. Obviously, this one was designed to have two 4x6s, but you could do 3x4s. as well, whatever pictures you've got. Hope you're loving it. We got one more to do. With this kit, the first thing I want you to do is figure out how these two pieces of paper line up together and get them attached so that the larger one is on the right-hand side of the left page, and the 2-inch one, so 4-inch and 2-inch, is on the left-hand side of the right page, right? Get these two so the pattern lines up and it looks like that flows right across. Then what I want you to do is, if you're going to do this step, before you add those white pieces down so that you don't accidentally put any ink on them, I rubbed ink here using blending brushes, here, 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 and here. Let me pull that up close so you can see. So I think it adds a fun little layer to the layout, right? Really helps it kind of pop. You decide if you want to do that or not. For the sake of the video, I'm not going to do it. So I'm going to dive right in, and I'm going to start this page. After I got my 4x4 on there, I'm going to add one of the 3-inch strips of stripe to that. I think we need to get rid of this guy for now. All right, so this piece here is 7.5 by 8.5. I'm going to make it be taller than it is wide. That I've got coming. Ooh, I'm using the wrong one. All right, let's switch. Got myself all confused. All right, so the 3-inch strip goes right next to the 2-inch strip. Now I've got my 3 or 7, it's 7.5, 7.5 this way, 8.5 this way. 1 inch over from the edge, 1.5 inches down. So 1.5 inches right in there. Now I want you to grab your flip flap, and you've got a piece of paper that's 3.25 by 3.25. So that's basically the same size as the flap, including, all the plastic right to the edge. So what we're going to do is figure out where you want this piece to be, right? So it's going to fall kind of right in there for me. And I'm going to move it and put my flap down. I want my flap to go right about here. And then open that up and attach this 3x3 piece so that when you close this, it lines up right in that space. Okay, so that's where we're going to put, we've got room for 1, 2, 3 3x3 pictures on that layout. Okay, we've got a whole bunch of goodies. Let's divide them up. This striped piece right here, I want you to take your scissors and cut middle-ish. Okay, so we're going to create stacks. We need a big red and a little red, one in each pile. Then our little blue goes over here and our big blue goes here. Big yellow, little white, big white. These ones are all for our other page. You also have 2 of these silver pieces. You need one for the other page and one over here. Okay, so now we're going to again create this cluster. Blue, then yellow. And the yellow slightly overlaps the blue. Then we've got our striped piece that we need to dovetail. All the other ones were die cuts that I cut for you. This one we actually have to cut ourselves. That's going to slightly overlap that yellow piece. Then red. And you know what? I want this red to be a little bit shorter, so I'm going to slide it behind just a little bit. And then my white piece is going to go on top of that. Right down in here. And then I'm going to take this silver strip. I put adhesive all over the whole thing. And I'm running it from the bottom of the yellow to the top of the blue. And then I'm actually going to trim off the edge so that it just looks like it's covering where those banners are. Super cute, right? Then, as always, your turtles may be going a different direction than my turtles are going. That is okay. You may not have the same color balloons that I have, and that's okay. All right, we got a dude with a present. I want him up top here. Then we've got a guy facing that direction, and he's holding a balloon. Your balloon might be attached already, and that's awesome if it is. Oop, I don't want to put glue on his head because he's overlapping this picture. All right, so he's looking that way, and I have a blue, red, and yellow balloon. So I'm going to take my red balloon and put that right behind his hand. Again, yours might be attached and you can just cut it out so that it's attached and stays that way. You've got cake. You've got chocolate cake and vanilla cake. You decide what you want to do here. You've got some ice cream that's going to go up top. Up in there. I tied a full bow. I think it's a little too bulky. Totally up to you if you want to do it or not. And then your last colored gems. We got a big and a little and a big and a little. And that will finish up that page. Let's do the last one for this kit. I just noticed I did put a little yellow hat on this party dude. Just make sure when you're attaching it that you only attach it to the top of his head so you can still get your picture underneath all of that. Just a little side note. Okay, so here we've already got a bunch of this started, right? So we're going to add our photo wells next. We want our page going like this. All right. That's on the right. This piece is going 2 inches down and overlapping 1 inch onto that white striped paper. Our 3x4 well is going slightly above and about 1/2 of an inch over. The 4x4 will line up underneath that, right about there. Now we've got our fun little cluster of tags that are all going to go underneath this picture. So I started with the red on this side, did the white next. Then the red one that we're going to need to cut. I just did a little snip on that. That's overlapping the red and the white. Then the blue, and the last one will be our yellow. And then just like in the other page that we did, we're going to take that silver strip and run that from the edge of the red over to the edge of the white and nip. Right, so it just keeps that kind of cluster area all together. We've got a little dude holding an ice cream cone that's going to go down in here. He's wearing a little red party hat. If that's going to overlap your picture, just be real careful on how you put it on there. All right, so this dude over here, he is holding some balloons. Yours might be dark, yours might be light. Either way, he can hold some balloons. Get my ice cream cone on there. So my balloons, if your dude was already holding a yellow balloon or a red balloon, that makes him real easy to deal with because one of them's you're just going to cut out as you go. If not, then just you're adding your adhesive and you want to place it so that it looks like he's holding these balloons in his hand. And if it's going to overlap your picture, just make sure that you are pulling it over enough so that you can still get your picture underneath there later. If you've got any cakes left over, you can use your cakes. Oh, where's my dude with a, you've got a guy with a cake that goes up here. I'm not really sure where mine is. All right, and I just have a couple more party hats that I'm going to put on a few guys. That is the end of this project, my friends. I hope that you had fun and enjoyed this. And thanks for watching. Comment, tell me what you've done with Turtley Awesome, because they're super cute and really fun to use.